the questions of the wrong people. We are not the administrators of the procurement process, nor do we determine whether or not the procurement process has been conducted and all of the information provided. That is the Department of Purchasing in the Department of Administration. So I'm gonna have to say all of the questions along this line of questioning need to be directed to that department, because we simply do not administer those provisions.
Would it surprise you to learn that AECom and Aetna Bridge have both contributed tens of thousands of dollars to candidates that's required in those contracts, in those vendor affidavits, but they've never submitted any of those affidavits required in the language of the RIDOT contracts?
Again, I'm not going to be surprised and not surprised. I'm simply going to tell you that the provisions of that and the governance of that is within the jurisdiction of the Department of Administration and the Purchasing Division, not of DOT.
Do you think that the public might have concerns about RIDOT if RIDOT is awarding contracts which require vendor affidavits, where the vendor's receiving contracts for tens of millions of dollars and are not reporting campaign contributions that are required in the RIDOT contracts?
I'm not going to speculate for you. I'm not going to take questions that are speculative in nature if we don't have any definitive information on that, nor do we have jurisdiction over that.
Well, I'd like to mark as exhibits, please, these documents. The first one is an AECom contract. Mark that as exhibit A, please. The next is an Aetna Bridge contract. Mark that as exhibit B, please. The next is 7 contracts to AECom in excess of $1 million. If you mark that as exhibit C, please. The next is 27 contracts to Aetna Bridge in excess of $1 million, and mark that as exhibit D, please. The next is a record of $20,000 of political contributions by AECom. If you could mark that, please, as exhibit E. And finally, as exhibit F, $20,000 by Aetna Bridge. And I would just say that while I understand that you may view this as a responsibility of the Department of Administration, you began this presentation by talking about confidence in RIDOT.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage you to talk with the Department of Administration to see what can be done about this, because I will tell you, it's not unique to RIDOT. It's not, I'm not saying that it's only RIDOT.
Yep.
But if we want to have if we want to have confidence in our government agencies, and we want to have confidence in the procurement process, I think it would be beneficial to attend to this. Thank you.
So let me just make a brief response to that. I will certainly forward your concerns to the Department of Administration and ask them to confer with you or get you answers with regard to these items. However, let me assure you of one thing, Senator, and let this be perfectly clear, okay? That we set up a procurement process inside DOT. The part of it that we're responsible for is to assess the competency, the capabilities, the performance, the technical proposal, and the schedules that these companies, and select them on the basis of the best company responses. And I can tell you that of the staff that I have in responsible charge of those reviews in that portion of the award, that they hold them at the highest levels of ethical standards. They conduct themselves in a highly ethical way. They make their selection based on the best deal that we could possibly get in all cases for the state of Rhode Island. And in every case, once those companies are selected and hired, to the high 90 percentile rate in accordance with all of the reports, quarterly reports that we have submitted to your agency, which I hope you have reviewed for the last 10 years. We have held those companies to a very high standard of accountability. And over 95 to 100% some years of those projects came in on time, on budget, and to scope. So I will forward these concerns to the department that's in charge of these concerns and ask them to respond to you.
Okay, thank you.